Chrissy Teigen, Part 16. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. If you haven't already indulged in learning more about narcissism with a different example, utilising Chrissy Teigen, then you really ought to visit parts 1 to 15 of this series to receive detailed analysis of her behaviours, responses and activities that will help you understand not only more about why she does as she does, but also to extend your knowledge about narcissism more generally. One of the advantages that is provided by certain narcissists is the fact that invariably they keep repeating the behaviours, that they will swear off something and then go and do that very same thing, possibly within a matter of minutes, hours, days or months. And that is the repetitive nature of certain narcissists with regard to their behaviour. The fact that there can be no sustained, permanent change in the behaviours because the narcissism will not allow it. Some narcissists don't exhibit any change whatsoever. They don't even talk about doing it, invariably found with many of the lessers. Other narcissists, those that invariably wield facades, will talk about change, will promise change, will proclaim that they have changed, that they've been in extensive therapy, and they've seen the error of their ways, that they realise that their behaviours have been selfish and that they are utterly contrite for the way that they have behaved. Yet, of course, we all know that because they are narcissists, they can't be contrite. It's false contrition. They can't change. It's merely false promise changed. That they demonstrate supposed compassion for others as a consequence of their behaviours. It's false compassion, and it's all part of the assertion of control and facade management. Chrissy Teigen is a good example of this. And while she'd been relatively quiet as of late, or perhaps I just couldn't be bothered to look at an article with that moon face staring back at me, we wander across to the Mirror newspaper. As always, I leave it for you to determine the veracity of the material. I provide you with the analysis. An article by Zoe Delaney tells us Chrissy Teigen cancelled again as fans slam her for tone-deaf Squid Game party. This isn't the first time Chrissy Teigen has been called out for failing to recognise her privilege. The model was mocked last year for failing to truly understand Oscar-winning film Parasite. Chrissy Teigen isn't particularly clever. She managed to get a leg up through her association with her husband, Mr. Legend. And thereafter, like many of these individuals, look at Hilary Baldwin, who have utilised the concept of being some kind of model or social media influencer, terrible term, to forge a supposed career for themselves where they basically tell other people what they're up to, showing off about their lifestyle, and perhaps encouraging other people to buy this or adopt this particular alternative lifestyle, claiming to be some kind of guru, whether it's to do with their chakras, their yoga, or what they're shoving into their mouth at that particular moment. Chrissy Teigen is another of these vacuous individuals who somehow, and Lord knows how, got a gig as a model and then basically spent all of her time dressing up as parasols, wandering around, receiving signals from outer space on her face as she continues to engage in behaviour that is showmanship, vanity, thinking she's better than other people, whilst at the same time believing that she's ever so humble and kind and compassionate, doing such things as sharing with the world the news of her miscarriage, rather than focusing on her own grief, engaging simply in heralding it to everybody through taking photographs and Instagramming the fuck out of it. Listen to Parts Passim for all of those general details. They are legion. But with the Mirror article, what do we learn? Well, Chrissy Teigen has been criticised for her tone-deaf Squid Game party. Fans slammed the model for failing to understand the meaning of the smash hit Netflix series by using it as a theme for a lavish gathering. Millionaire Chrissy, 35, faced criticism after she took to Instagram, showmanship, assertion of control, grandiosity, to share snaps from her party where she and her celebrity guests imitated the lethal games featured on the South Korean survival drama. Oh, but unfortunately they didn't imitate them as the lethal games, just merely the games. Oh, if only they would have gone the whole hog and with the stop-go game been shot, and therefore we wouldn't have to tolerate their insipid, mind-numbing, vacuous existences. The surprise hit series sees individuals plagued with staggering financial debt take part in rounds of deadly children's games in a desperate attempt to win a huge cash prize. In her controversial post, the model joked that her dream of watching my friends fight to the death came true as she enjoyed the swanky bash over the weekend. After taking a break from social media, after historic abusive tweets resurfaced earlier this year, Chrissy was very present on Instagram on Monday as she shared a slew of snippets from her absolutely epic night. Remember, this is the woman that repeatedly bullied other people, provoking them, insulting them, exhibiting a complete absence of emotional empathy, and only when it became apparent, as a consequence of advice from relevant PR gurus, that it was tanking her ability to make money, that she rolled out empty contrition and apologised for the behaviour. Of course, she then said that she was taking a break from social media, only to then reappear very quickly thereafter, again demonstrating the inability for permanent change, and once again she can't help herself. Her innate narcissism drives her to assert control over all of her followers for the purposes of assertion of control, the drawing of fuel, residual benefits such as the money that's made from it, to cause her to show off. And she does so in a manner which has been deemed to be tone deaf, which belies her absence of emotional empathy. It shows her hypocrisy. I'm no longer going to be on social media, except I'm back. No, I'm off it. Here I am again. And many of the stars, the article tells us, followers didn't share the same opinion of her bad taste party. I think you missed the point of the show, one shocked commentator wrote. Another added, why do rich people always miss the whole entire point? Well, actually, it's because many rich people are narcissists. And what you ought to have written, commentator, there is, why do narcissists always miss the whole entire point? And it continued. Celebrity stylist Christina Cheeseman, who she pointed out a dark similarity between Chrissy's party and a scene from Squid Games, where wealthy men observe the debt-riddled contestants while they compete to the death. I love this, but I'm also getting the rich white man vibes watching the Glass Bridge episode, she diplomatically wrote to the Star. Chrissy, who is married to singer John Legend, captioned a controversial post, "Where do I even begin? What an absolutely epic night. My dream came true of watching my friends fight to the death. Dunk tank, musical chairs, hide and seek, followed by a very riveting final game of pin the tail on the donkey. At wife of the party, you truly are the best and have the best team ever." The newly sober star then went on to promise more pics to come, promised again, and limited the comments on her post. Assertion of control by nullifying threats to control because they were adverse to her. Similar to the way when people criticised her on Twitter for what she was writing, her response was just to lash at them further. Before comments became restricted, one critical fan pointed out to Chrissy that as a wealthy person, it could be considered poor taste to imitate scenes from Squid Game. They wrote, "This is so beyond tone deaf as a millionaire to invite your rich friends over and reenact Squid Games, which is rooted in the violence of capitalism." This isn't the first time Chrissy has been called out for failing to understand art that examines the struggles of the poor living under capitalism. At the start of 2020, the Cravings founder posted a short review on Twitter of Bong Joon-ho's Oscar-winning film Parasite. "Phew, Parasite was so fucking good," she wrote to her millions of followers on her microblogging site. Parasite is a class-focused narrative which sees a poor Korean family con their way into working for a wealthy family. The movie examines the relationships between the working class and the rich, and the damage the upper classes can inflict on those living in poverty. With a wealth estimated to be over £50 million, many pointed out that Chrissy failed to fully underestimate, or rather fully understand, the film's message. One critical Twitter used replied to her original tweet writing, "Rich people have so little self-awareness, they'll watch a whole-ass film on class discrimination and the evil nature of rich people and not realise they are the villain, LOL." And of course, this exemplifies her absence of emotional empathy, although she believes that she has it, the crassness by which she comments, the self-entitlement to do so, a lack of accountability for her behaviours because she keeps on repeating them. Her absence of emotional empathy in the comments that she makes, the fact that then she has to demonstrate the need for control, because once she is criticised, which is challenge fuel, by various individuals, that acts as a threat to her control, which she then nullifies by switching the comments off. Something, of course, which has been seen recently with regard to certain videos involving Harry's wife, where adverse comment is anticipated and therefore the comments are switched off. And therefore, Chrissy Teigen continues to demonstrate what she is. The fact that she just will not learn from her behaviours because the narcissism will not let her. It will not let her because there is no genuine appreciation of the way that she behaves. Her behaviour is disposable. She will do A or B or C or D dependent upon whether the narcissism deems that it is appropriate. And therefore, if it deems that it is appropriate for her to show off about her Squid Games party, with the result that many people find it crass for her to do so, that it's a privileged observation, and they find it unpleasant, she can't understand that that's a problem, because her narcissism doesn't allow her to see it. And instead, there's no apology issued, at least there's no false contrition. This time, it's quite simply, I'm not going to allow you to comment any further. I'm shutting you up. An assertion of control by, in effect, giving a silent treatment. So Chrissy Teigen, her of the individual who doesn't know how her name should actually be pronounced, hence the need to always pronounce it two different ways, demonstrates to us once again that she continues to be a very sinking narcissist. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.